Welcome to Monday's Market Outlook here at TGO Top Gun Options. Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, and folks, we nailed it. This is also the home of the 2018 World Champion Philadelphia Eagles. What a great game last night. Brady, Belichick, your dynasty's over with. Forget about it. Philly cheesesteaks. We won, man. And of course, Philly celebrated by destroying their city. Makes perfect sense. But great game last night. And congratulations to my Eagles. Also, congratulations to our urgent alert that we put up on Friday. It's up $5,000. So this bullish double vertical I sent out around 1-ish. Sent out a text alert, I think, around 1 o'clock on Friday to put on this bullish double vertical, risking $5,200 to potentially make $9,800. We're already up $5,000 as the VIX. Let's take a look at VXX. Take a look at a chart of VXX. So we got long vol back here, sold vol here, got long vol here, and take a look at the VIX. How big's the VIX at the open here? Up 7%. We were above 19. We climbed above 19. The first time we've been up above 19 in, let's go with the 1-year chart. Man, we haven't seen, oh man, we got to do a 2-year chart. So last time we saw 19, man, last fall, going into the election, man, we haven't seen vol this elevated for a while. It's actually going to be time to get short vol here soon because this is not the big one, Elizabeth. This will be the 5 to 10% generic pullback that we briefed. Remember, folks, if you haven't been a member here, or maybe you've been just watching these videos, I said the second week, I said this January rise is epic. I said the second week in February is most likely where we're going to see some volatility or the market pullback. You can go and watch about 2 or 3 recordings where I said that. I talked about buying generic VIX calls. I talked about buying some puts on SPY, and man, we nailed it. So we're up nearly $5,000 just on that one trade, which makes up for the SPX. I had a bad weekly options trade last week, a bull put spread on SPX that just absolutely disappeared and got blown out. So the VXX bullish double vertical that we placed on Friday is already up $5,000, which was the max loss of the SPX trade. So we're at a wash, essentially, in these big market moves right here at TGO. Also on Thursday, in the Analyze Your Trade session, I said, I'm done. We're done trading. We're going to sit on our hands for a little bit, and we're going to take some profits. So what I wanted to do is invite all of my members. I'm actually going to send you all an email here. I'm writing it over here in our broadcast, or I'm going to, not just weekly options at 1 o'clock. I'll open it up to everybody because we're not putting on a weekly options trade this week. I'm going to talk about hedging and where I think this market's going to go. So I'm going to send you guys an email, actually the email you're probably watching this video from. So make sure you join me at 1 o'clock. If you're not getting our sit reps every day pushed to you in your email, you're not registered for them. So you need to go to this page, go.topgunoptions.com/sitrep. Okay, I mean, they're posted to our site every day, but instead of you going to the site and trying to figure out where and what time I posted it, because I post these at different times. I'm doing this right now as the opening bell sounded, so I can cover some things and invite you all to the 1 o'clock session. So make sure you're getting these daily in your email. Go.topgunoptions.com/sitrep. Okay, real quick, strategically. Looks like, here's a headline from Bloomberg Politics. Courts may decide Brazil's election. The Attorney General warns. So we saw a huge rally in EWZ a couple weeks ago that we predicted. We nailed it. EWZ was up about 7% in a day, or 10% over 2 days. Still holding up relatively nicely with the U.S. buffoonery. And we talked about a bull put spread on EWZ a couple weeks ago. So I like the ETF here, the Brazil ETF. And we're going to talk at 1 o'clock today about using this correction, this pullback, as what? First of all, our hedges are working great, and second of all, to get longer, to add to some of our Jan 19, well, actually not the Jan 19s, the Jan 20s. On a Brazil, on a China, on the Amazons, on the JP Morgan. So on good, solid things that are going to have a good year, we're going to look to add to. We're also going to talk about ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil got smacked around a little bit more than I thought was going to happen. So, everybody's kind of feeling it today, but this is not the big one, okay? This isn't panic selling. It could turn into panic selling. I could be completely wrong, and by the time we get to our 1 o'clock webinar, it's we're down 700 points. So this is kind of orderly. So I'm not too worried about it. When I get worried is when you should be panicking. So I'm not super worried right now. So and again, folks, remember this was a massive. I haven't seen this in a quarter of a century of doing this. That type of January, of course, this is going to happen. We predicted. We actually got the week right. I said what? I said the second week in February. I have 3 recordings documented where I said this was going to happen. I said I thought it was going to happen on crying Chuck Schumer. Now I don't think the government's going to shut down because the Democrats, so we're already getting pounded into the dirt right now. You think Chuck Schumer wants to send this market down even lower and be hammered with that? He's going to step out of the way because remember, Trump has claimed credit for all of this market rally. Well, then that's a double-edged sword, Mr. President, because you also own this. So don't sit here and take credit for all of this and then not that. I get it. This is just a normal, cleansing of the baffles to steal a Red October term, but you got to own both of these. So yeah, the VIX topped 19, and people are asking how worried should you be? Well, right now I'm not. People are saying this is the end of the 8-year bull rally. How? All these tax stuff coming back. I forget. There were 2 or 3 companies that announced this morning, again, $1,000 to their employees, hiring more people. So we might have gotten over our ski tips and overly euphoric on this, but this will be a BTFD, folks, a buy the freaking dip. I'm convinced of it. Maybe we go down to this 50-day moving average. That's why we're going to talk at 1 o'clock. Hey, maybe we should, just throw on some SPY puts in case this thing does turn into panic selling. I just don't feel it yet. I've been on the phone all morning, even though it was a late Super Bowl night, and again, I'll let you know if it's panic selling. Thank God I hated Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, more or less, the Fed just is taking a shotgun out to heavies at Wells Fargo. Again, if you're a blue collar criminal, you go to jail. If you're a white collar criminal, you get stock options and a golden parachute, and you'll leave. They're replacing 4 board directors and some enforcement action and all sorts of stuff. The Fed just put the fear of God into bank boardrooms across the country. Ian Katz said, I disagree. Nobody cares. Is anybody doing a perp walk at Wells Fargo? Is anybody throwing the bracelets on and going in the back of an FBI car? No, they're not. So nobody cares. But, obviously Wells Fargo, let's see. You can take them out of my bronze medalist position in my financials. They are awful. Look at that move. That's a falling knife. This would be almost like Wynn Casinos. This would be a pound Wells Fargo into the dirt. That ain't good news. And, they will not sound the all clear on Wells Fargo for a while. No more tigers in Exxon's tank. Investors are unimpressed by quarterly gains. Shares slid as much as 6%. I mean, they crushed earnings, but 400% rise in earnings over a year earlier. Excuse me. But it was a lot of one-off items, accounting gains and the corporate tax cuts and stuff like this. So if you do it on an adjusted basis, earnings fell slightly. So ExxonMobil is one of my Jan 20 lovelies. But remember, guys, even as the front month is getting hammered, so now we're back to the mid-80s. If you've been here at TGO for a while, let me pull up the 1-year chart. You know that what? It lives or has lived, and we made a great living doing iron condors in here. It fell out of the bottom of that iron condor range. We got out of it. Once it climbed back up into that range, we got long. We put on our long call diagonal on ExxonMobil right around there, and it's that's still a hell of a run. So guess what we're going to do? Now it's going to get back into this iron condor range, and we're going to do fine. So even when something's channeling sideways for a couple months, we can still make a lot of money on a range-bound trade known as an iron condor. Apple's cash pile is ginormous. We'll talk about the text today at 1 o'clock, but everybody's under a little bit of pressure right now. Amazon had blowout earnings. I think we had one remaining Amazon bull put spread that still worked out okay, even with this pullback. It's only down $25 only. So big move on earnings and right back around to where it was. So again, not super panicked right now. This is, we predicted this. Hopefully everybody has their bullish double vertical on volatility on, and this is good, folks. This gets rid of the cobwebs, and all right, so good. We're back above 19, and our VXX trade is up $5,000 since Friday. How many? Can I get a hell yeah if you made $5,000 on the market imploding? And I know some of you who didn't do it. a double vertical isn't a complex trade, folks. It's just two trades on top of each other when you're really, really, really something. And we were really bullish on volatility spiking. Again, I might have gotten the reason wrong. You know, I think a government shutdown. That was my main reason for this. But my secondary reason was what? It's time to hedge and get long volatility because it is February. People hate February. Football season's over with. You got stupid Valentine's Day coming. Got to find a date and all that stuff. And nobody likes February. So this was expected. This was coming, and we were prepared for it. So it is time to do what? Start selling some front month at the money, or actually in the money calls on some positions we have, like a JP Morgan. I'd be selling right at the 115s right here to bring in some nice premium, or hell, even the 113. Yeah, there's 113s available, right? I'd go out a couple weeks and sell the 113s and make some nice premium. And also, it's time to start selling bear call spreads on our front month trade. So I'd be selling upside calls on JP Morgan against our Jan 20 position, and also bear call spreads on all of them, folks. This is what we do as an options trader. We can shuck and jive, and we are very, very tactical. We will dogfight the hell out of this market, and we're going to win. Again, as an options trader, I really don't care which way the market's going, up, down, or sideways. Now I'm going to show my members, especially my 50 new Full Throttle members, how we can make money as the market's going down. Well, I already showed you. Men lie, numbers don't. There's our bullish double vertical. I sent this out Friday on February at around whatever time it was before, you know, the Dow was down like 250 or 300, and we hit, what, almost 700 down on the Dow. So this trade's up $5,000 already, and if vol keeps going higher, we could make 10 grand on this hedge. So that'll take the sting out of a lot of it. Right now, it's taking the sting out of last week's bad weekly options trade out of me. So very happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to invite everybody to the webinar at 1 o'clock. Make sure you check your email, and I'll see all of my members at 1 o'clock. Like I said, we actually booted two members last week, since apparently they came from some other side of the Mars and didn't know that we trade politics here. And this is the first pullback in a while that hasn't been political. This is a different year, guys. 2017, every pullback political. 2018, this is a good generic, hey man, we've really had to rip your face off rally, so let's take a little bit of a break. If you want one of those slots here at Full Throttle, a monthly or an annual, you can head to go.topgunoptions.com/getft. It's real easy to remember. Go.topgunoptions.com/getft. And tomorrow night actually is when we're going to start our Full Throttle training at 7 o'clock for all of our new members. Plus, obviously, as a added benefit to any current Full Throttle member, you get to attend all of our Full Throttle programs from now until you're not a member in good standing, which more than pays for itself. All right, guys, I got to run. Have a great day. I'm looking forward to this stuff. I love it. It's very cool. If you're looking at a lot of red in your portfolio, you should at least have one blinding green, and that should be your hedge. If not, you're trading wrong, and you need to be here at TGO, okay? So everybody just relax, take a deep breath, and we'll get through this, and let's look to make some money, okay? I'll see many of you guys at 1 o'clock. Fight's on.